trying to coddle him for? Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he needs to do.
Which one? From here. Yeah, from here. Let's go.
Stop scrolling for a moment, because what we're about to talk about is not rumors, not clout, not internet drama. This is real life. This is a family shattered by fear. This is T.I. and Tiny standing outside an ICU room, praying their son opens his eyes after a violent attack inside jail. And the heartbreaking truth is, everyone saw this coming except King Harris himself. The night started like any other. The noise, the arguments, the hard faces staring from across the cells. People yelling for food, others banging on doors just to stay awake. But in that chaos, something darker was building. Something King didn't see coming until it was too late. Because earlier that morning, King reportedly got into an argument with someone who had been watching him for days. They said he walked around like a celebrity, like he was untouchable, like the cameras were still on him. And everyone knew King loved attention. He loved being loud, he loved being flashy, and he loved proving he was tougher than people thought. But in jail, the spotlight doesn't keep you safe. It paints a target on your back. People warned him. They told him to calm down, blend in, let go of the street talk. They told him jail isn't a playground, and nobody cares who his father is. But King wasn't listening. He was still holding on to that Instagram Live energy, the same one where he yelled at T.I. in front of thousands of people, claiming he grew up in the trenches. Claiming he wasn't scared of anyone. That moment went viral. People laughed. People joked. But it's not a joke anymore. Sources say the tension inside the jail was building all week. One inmate told someone on the outside that King had been warned to move quietly because certain people were watching him. Others said King refused to listen, brushing it off with his usual confidence. But the truth is, ego doesn't mean much behind locked doors. Around 11:45 a.m., everything changed. King was reportedly walking back from a common area. A couple of inmates followed behind him. It started with words, sharp, disrespectful words. Something about him acting above everyone else. Something about him thinking he couldn't be touched. King snapped back, not backing down, because pride is a dangerous thing. Then everything exploded at once. A group of inmates closed in on him fast. One shoved him. Another threw the first punch. And before King could even react, more fists came flying. People say King tried to defend himself. He swung back, he yelled, he tried to get out, but it didn't matter. They overwhelmed him, slammed him down, and at one point, he reportedly hit his head on the concrete floor. Guards rushed in, yelling for everyone to get back. Sirens blared. Some inmates stepped away, stunned at how far it went. Others acted like nothing happened. But King, he didn't move. Reports say he was lying there, eyes half closed, barely breathing. His chest was rising slowly, like each breath took everything he had left. And for the first time, everyone realized what had happened. A young man who spent months trying to prove he was tough was now fighting for his life. The guards called for medical backup immediately. EMTs arrived within minutes. They placed King on a stretcher, fitted a neck brace around him, and started checking his pulse. One of the EMTs reportedly said, "He's fading, get him out now." Word traveled fast. Someone inside contacted people outside. And within minutes, the news reached T.I. and Tiny. Tiny was reportedly in the middle of a call when she heard the words, ICU, and froze completely. She dropped everything. She couldn't breathe. Her voice broke as she begged for details, asking what happened, asking if he was conscious, asking if he was still fighting. T.I. was in a meeting when someone ran in and pulled him aside. They say he stood still for a second, as if he didn't believe it. Then he walked out without saying a word, grabbed his keys, and sped toward the hospital. When they arrived, King was already being rushed through the emergency doors. His face was bruised, his lips swollen, his eyes barely open. His chest was hooked to monitors. Doctors were whispering to each other, moving fast, checking for head trauma, checking his oxygen levels, checking for internal bleeding. Tiny walked beside the stretcher, crying, shaking, holding his hand even though he couldn't squeeze back. T.I. stood behind them, his jaw clenched, his eyes filled with something no parent ever wants to feel: helplessness. This wasn't music. It wasn't a podcast debate. It wasn't social media entertainment. This was their baby. This was their child lying in front of them, silently fighting for his life. Inside the ICU, doctors worked to stabilize him. They said he had a concussion, significant bruising, and possible swelling in the head. They were monitoring him for complications. They had machines hooked to him to make sure his breathing stayed steady. Every beep, every sound made Tiny jump. T.I. paced the room, refusing to sit down, refusing to blink, refusing to leave his son's side. Family sources say T.I. kept repeating the same words under his breath. "He shouldn't have been in there this long. He shouldn't have been there. That's my fault." Tiny blamed everything on the people around King, the ones who encouraged his street persona, the ones who hyped up his behavior instead of guiding him. She said King wasn't built for that life. He was a kid trying to prove something to people who didn't even care about him. Meanwhile, the internet was on fire. The moment the news broke, social media exploded. Hashtags, videos, memes, reactions. Some people were praying for King. Others were mocking him, saying he finally got what he asked for. Some were saying this should be a wake-up call. Others said T.I. failed as a father. Charleston White, of course, posted a video that instantly went viral. People had opinions, loud ones. Some celebrities posted messages telling the family to stay strong. Others remained silent, knowing anything they said would be twisted. But one of the biggest questions spreading online was this: was the attack random, or was it planned? According to insiders, King had been receiving threats for days. Some inmates didn't like how he carried himself. Some didn't like his attitude. Some didn't like the attention. And some, according to rumors, had connections to people outside who were tired of King's social media antics. One inmate reportedly said, "They were waiting for him. He didn't even see it coming." That statement alone sent the internet into a frenzy. If true, it means the attack wasn't just a fight. It was a setup. It was personal. It was meant to hurt him badly. As King lay unconscious in the ICU, doctors continued monitoring him through the night. They said he needed rest. They said swelling had to go down. They said the next 24 hours were critical. Tiny barely slept. She kept talking to him softly, telling him to wake up, telling him she was there, telling him everything would be okay. T.I. stood at the foot of the bed, silent, angry, emotional, blaming himself for not stepping in sooner. At one point, T.I. finally addressed the public. His message was short, shaky, and heavy. "Keep my son in your prayers. He's strong. He's fighting. We'll deal with the rest later." People noticed the pain in his voice, the fear, the frustration. It wasn't the confident, composed T.I. people were used to seeing. This was a father terrified of losing his child. Tiny later posted a photo, her hand holding King's hand, both surrounded by wires for tubes and monitors. She didn't write a caption. She didn't need to. And now, the big question is what happens next. Sources say T.I. is considering everything right now, everything. From filing legal action against the jail, to demanding an investigation, to even trying to get King transferred to a high-security medical facility where nobody can get close enough to hurt him again. People close to the family say Tip hasn't slept, hasn't eaten, and is calling every politician, every lawyer, every connection he's ever made in the industry. They claim he's pulling every string possible to get King released early because after what just happened, nobody knows if King can survive another week inside. But the bigger question is what this moment will do to King. Some say this could finally be the wake-up call he needed, the reality check that the streets he glorified online aren't built for him, and that the reckless persona he created can't save him when real danger shows up. That maybe, for the first time, he understands that consequences don't care who your father is, but others are terrified. They worry King's pride will kick in the moment he recovers. That instead of learning, he'll double down. That he'll try to show the world he's still tough, still unshaken, still built for it. Even if proving that image is exactly what almost cost him his life. Right now, all anyone can do is wait. Wait for updates. Wait for signs of improvement. Wait to see if King wakes up and understands that this could have been the end. And as T.I. and Tiny stand beside his bed, watching the rise and fall of his chest, one thing is painfully clear. No matter how famous you are, no matter how rich you are, no matter how strong you think you are, one wrong moment